Hey everybody, Ryan here at etrailer. Today on our 2012 Honda CRV, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster Diode Wiring Kit. So before we take a closer look at the diode kit itself, I figured it'd be useful just to kind of touch base and refresh ourselves on the 5 main components that we're going to need to flat tow our Honda down the road in the first place. So there's going to be a total of 5 main components needed to flat tow your Honda down the road safely. First one's going to be your base plate, and that's going to provide us with a solid and reliable connection point. That way we can hook our tow bar up. And the tow bar is going to be the second component, and this is going to be the physical link that actually connects the front of your Honda to the back of your motorhome. The third main component is going to be safety cables, and these are there in the event of an unlikely disconnect. These are going to keep everything paired together. The fourth main component is going to be tow bar wiring, and what this is going to do is transfer the lighting functions from the back of your coach to the back of your SUV, keeping you safe and legal. And last but not least, the fifth main component is going to be a supplemental braking system. And what this is going to do is apply the brakes in your CRV whenever you hit the brakes in your motorhome, helping bring you to a more predictable and complete stop. And this is a perfect example on what the diode kit is going to do. As you can see, we have our left turn signal going on our motorhome, and it's being transferred back here to our Honda. But we're not just going to get the left turn, we'll also get the right turn, our stop lights, as well as our tail lights. So, you know, everyone is going to know what's going on whenever they're driving behind our setup here. Now, probably my favorite thing about this kit is the fact that it's super easy to set up. So whenever you're ready to flat tow, literally all you're going to have to do is plug in a cord at the front of your Honda and to the back of the motorhome, and that's really it. You know, you're not going to be able to notice this at all once it's installed. It has a factory type appearance, so it's not going to really stand out by any means. As compared to some of the other options available for wiring, one of them is magnetic lighting. Really not a huge fan of that. I'd rather not use it if I didn't have to. And I say that because with the magnetic lights, they're going to stick to the top of your Honda, and you're going to have to set it up every single time you want to flat tow or cruise your Honda around town. So you're going to have to drape wires and everything else. It just takes up a lot of time, and it's unnecessary when there's a diode kit available like this one here. As I mentioned, whenever you're ready to hook up, all you're going to have to do is plug the cable in. So here's where it goes into the front of your vehicle and into the back of your motorhome. Now, there is several different kits available, and those are going to come with different type of cables, okay? So the one that we have right here is called the hybrid. It has a coiled portion here on the motorhome side, and the rest of it is straight. And you want to use this setup if your tow bar has channels, like our Falcon all-terrain here. That way you can utilize the channels properly and run your cables through there. This one's particularly useful if you have a really long setup, so like if you have a big high-low adapter or something that really adds a lot of distance, this coiled portion is going to give you a little bit more room. If your tow bar has channels as well, there's another kit that you can use, and that's just a straight cable, 100% straight cable. Works the same as a hybrid, just a little bit shorter. So kind of whatever your preference is. Those are both a 7-way round connector that'll go into the back of the motorhome to a 6-way round that'll go into the front of your car. So really common setup. And I just want to talk about these different kits because they're each going to have their own purpose, and depending on your setup, you want to make sure you get the right one. There's also a coiled cable, all right? And again, 7 on one end, 6 on the other, and you would use this setup if your tow bar does not have channels. That way the coiled portion will extend whenever you're turning and retract whenever you're going straight and keep it up off the ground. There's another kit available as well. This one isn't as popular, but it is available. It's a 7-way round for your motorhome and a 4-way round for the vehicle side. This is a coiled type deal as well, so if you have this one, it's kind of your best bet, if you have this type of setup to use. And there's also going to be a kit available that is just a 4-way flat connector to a 4-way flat connector. Really not a super common kit. We don't see a ton of them here at eTrailer, but you know, if your motorhome has this type of setup, you know, that's what you can roll with. And then there's also going to be a kit available that does not come included at all with a cable. And the reason is some of the premium type tow bars actually come included with that component. So the real nice tow bars will give you a cable and a connector plug and those other components that you would otherwise need. And it's nice that they think that through and offer a kit that kind of just comes with the bare bones. That way, if you do have one of those premium type tow bars, you're not going to have to buy those, you know, buy those components again, more or less. You know, you don't need 2 cables and 2 plugs. So if that's your case and you have a tow bar like that, definitely get the kit that is kind of just the bare bones. As far as the installation goes, it's really not too bad. You know, everything's pretty easy to get to. I'll say the worst part is probably just having to route the wire from the front of your Honda all the way to the back to the taillights. That probably takes up the most time at least. But that said, as long as you stay focused, really shouldn't give you too many issues getting it installed. Speaking of which, let's go ahead, pull into the garage and put it on together now. To begin our install, we're going to be here at the front of our vehicle. And in our case, we have the fascia removed, and that's because we're doing the wiring the same time that we're doing the base plate. But this can be done with everything together. Just wanted to mention that. First thing you're going to do is take one end of your wiring, and I just kind of separated it so you can kind of just pull them apart, get individual wires. Then going to take the dust cover or rubber boot there, slide that over. We're going to strip back the insulation on each end of the wire. And once these are done, what I like to do is come back and give them a good twist. That way they're nice and tight. Get a better connection that way. Then we can grab our connector plug. If you flip this over, we're going to have some set screws in there. And those are going to be what connects the wires to the terminals. And everything's going to be labeled. But what you're going to do is back these set screws out just enough so you can get the wire in. Try not to pull them all the way out because they're tough to get back in. But if you look, we'll see the labels here. We'll have RT for right turns. Our green wire will go to it. This one's LT for left turn. So yellow wire will go there. This one's GD for ground. So the white wire will go to it. This one's labeled TM for taillights. So our brown wire will go to it. That said, we'll go ahead, take our wires, put them in the appropriate terminals. So we'll do brown first. That'll go into the TM slot. Go ahead, grab a small screwdriver and snug it down. And just work our way around, hooking up all the correct wires. So this is what the plug looks like once you have all the wires hooked up. Go ahead and take our cover there, put that over it. What I like to do at the very end, once I have everything hooked up, is come back and seal everything up and tape it. You can even apply some dielectric grease to the terminals. It helps with corrosion, things like that. But with that said, we'll go ahead and simply hook up our connector to the bracket that is part of our base plate here. At this point, we can route our wiring towards the back of our vehicle. I simply just ran it along through here, up through here. It kind of goes behind our tail light, or I'm sorry, our headlight, up into the engine compartment. Run it up on along through that way, and I simply dropped it straight down at the back of our firewall to the underside of our vehicle. So now underneath the vehicle, and I continue to route our wire. Did have to loosen up the panels a little bit. There's just some pushpin type fasteners, you know, to make it easier to work. But that said, I just routed our wiring along through there, where it comes up through here. When you're doing this, do your best to avoid any hot or moving parts, and use your zip ties along the way to keep it secure. Comes up along through there and just kind of runs along this edge here. Right up through there. It comes up. It's going to go over our subframe. All right. And right through this opening there where that plastic panel is. So here's where our wire comes up over that panel, and what we're going to do, I separated the white wire from the rest of the others. That's because we need to ground this white wire out. And so I think I'm going to go, I don't know, right here up in this area probably. So we'll cut this to length. Put that strip back. That wire strip back. We'll take our ring terminal, slide that over the bare end of the wire, crimp it down. And we're just going to attach this to our frame. You want to do a nice thick piece of metal because this is going to act as our ground. So you want something solid there, go right there. Once that is tight, I guess we'll just leave our wires kind of hang here for now. And what we'll do is go up top and get our taillights removed. And that way, once we get that done, we'll know, a little bit, have a better idea on exactly how we need to route the rest of our wiring up to those taillight pockets. So to get the taillights out, you open up your rear hatch. We're gonna have 2 fasteners holding the taillight in. So go ahead and pull those out. And grab the taillight. Kind of work it back. We'll go ahead and just get them disconnected. The way it's out of the way, just push down on those center tabs and pull back. So I'll set this one off to the side and repeat the same process to get the other one removed. So what I've done now is just dropped a pull wire down through this taillight pocket, and I just use a piece of tubing. You can use a coat hanger or something like that though too. And then I grabbed our wires, all right, and I separated the green one from the bundle. The green wire is going to get ran to the passenger side eventually. But I took our yellow and brown, and then that remaining piece of white wire that we had trimmed whenever we hooked up the ground, and I twisted all those together. And now I'm just going to pull these up into our taillight pocket here. We'll kind of let them hang for now. We'll get all the slack pulled up. Let them hang for now, and now we can test our wiring to figure out which ones we need to hook up. That way we can finish everything up. So at this point, what I've done is just kind of trimmed up our wires here. That way we don't have, 5 foot extra kind of hanging around. Strip back the insulation on the ends. The yellow wire crimped on a blue spade terminal. The white and brown wire, what you're going to do is twist the ends together. So get them twisted up. Take the yellow terminal, slide that over, and we'll get that crimped on. Then from there we can work with our factory wires. All right, so this is the top plug, factory one. There's a piece of black wiring on there I've removed, and I tested the wires. All right, we're looking for a stop and turn signal as well as our taillight signal. The red wire, that's going to be our taillight signal, and the blue wire, that's going to control the stop and turn. So with these, cut these in half. And we're going to go through them one by one there. You're just going to strip the end back And all 4 ends are going to receive a blue terminal there. We'll just do the same thing for the 3 remaining ends there. With all those crimped on, now we can grab the diodes. And you see the one end of the diode will have a single terminal that says out. You want to plug those in closest to the connector plug there, like so. We'll go color for color. So red to red, blue to blue. And since the red controls our stop and turn, we're going to take our yellow and brown wire there, plug that into this diode. We'll take the yellow wire, that's going to be our stop and turn signal. That's going to get plugged in to the diode that has the blue wires. Just like that. Once these are hooked up, we go ahead and secure them. I think I'm just going to stick them together. There's some sticky tape on there. And now we'll just grab our taillight, plug them back in, and we'll just re-secure this opposite way that we removed it. So back underneath the vehicle, here's our wires that I routed over to the passenger side, the green one and the white one. Simply just kind of taped them together, ran them along through here, secured them along the way. Then those wires are going to go up into the taillight pocket the same way that we did the other side. Just use that whole wire and taped them to it and pulled it up. So I went ahead and hooked up our passenger side pretty much the exact same way that we did the driver's side. The factory wire colors are going to be the same and have the same functionality. So the red wire be the taillight signal, so our new white wire will go to that diode. Factory blue wires, stop and turn, so the new green wire will go to it. And pretty straightforward there. So once that's hooked up, we'll go ahead and again plug our taillight back in and reinstall it. Now it's a good idea to test our wiring to make sure it's working properly. So I went ahead and just plugged into a test box, turn on our taillights, our left turn signal, our right turn signal, and our brake lights. And that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Roadmaster Diode Wiring Kit on our 2012 Honda CRV.